How at 22 years old, I became $25,000 in debt. Hello, guys. My name is David, and this is how I became supremely into debt. In 2020, after I graduated, it was during COVID, and I had no intention of going to college. I just wanted to work and get as much money as I could. I was living with my parents, and unfortunately, all we could afford was a basement apartment that had a small ass room where I was living in. That room had no windows, it had one vent. I felt imprisoned. I wanted to leave as soon as I could. So in early 2021, I tried to move to Buffalo where my best friend was going to school. I went, I applied for an apartment, I applied for a job, and luckily I got a call back from the job wanting me to start the next week. Unfortunately for me, the apartment never called back. The reason is I didn't have any credit. And lo and behold, that's something you need if you want to move out of your apartment. So I applied to my first credit card. This is the first credit card I got. I put a sticker on it. It is a Chase Amazon Prime card. Now, luckily, with one card, it was so much easier to manage. But I was missing. I saw videos saying that the more credit cards you have, the better your credit score will become. I started applying to more cards due to the fact that I was debt free. What I didn't do is pay off those cards. In August of 2021, I was about $10,000 in credit card debt. Now, I wasn't happy with where I was. I decided to apply to a community college and go into psychology. That's something that really intrigued me, so I decided to go into that. Unbeknownst to me, when I applied, they not only covered my whole tuition, but they additionally gave me $6,000 to use for textbooks and other resources. This was a massive help because with those $6,000, I was able to pay almost all of my debt off. And with working alongside going to community college, I was able to completely be debt free at the end of 2021. Now, this is where things go south. In the summer of 2022, me and my two friends decided to go to Chicago. I don't know how much money I spent during that trip, but it was a lot more than I thought I did. At the end of the summer, I realized that I was back where I started, $10,000 in credit card debt. But luckily, I was still going to college. I had a false sense of security, thinking that I was going to receive the same amount of external money that I did the year prior. I was gravely mistaken, as they only covered my tuition and didn't give me any single amount of money for textbooks or anything. I decided to continue that semester, and at the end of the semester, I genuinely could not afford to continue going to community college since I was working a part-time job, not being able to pay my credit card bills, and my debt was just going higher. Can we get much higher? So I decided to get a full-time job working at Starbucks. But due to my spending habits, I was still not able to completely pay off my debt. So I was looking for different career directions. Obviously, working minimum wage jobs was not it. And I couldn't afford to go to college to get a better degree, to get a better job. But I stumbled upon a video talking about home inspection. Now, I didn't know what home inspection was, and I did the grave mistake of just diving straight into it without doing any research at all, and I applied for a class. That class was a 4 month long class with 4 hours, 2 days a week. That was not only costly, but it cost me a lot of time. So I couldn't get a full time job. In addition to that, I put myself into more debt by wanting a car that same summer. So I was able to find a car that was affordable and seemed pretty good. My dad wanted to help me out and decided to give me a loan, trusting that I'd pay him back. So I ended up working at this new cafe that opened up in my city, knowing that it would have been temporary because once I finished the courses, I was just going to leave and pursue the home inspection. 4 months came and went, and I luckily, surprisingly, passed the home inspection examination. So now I was fully licensed, but I was still not confident enough to pursue it. I decided to reach out to various companies around my county. I'd say I wrote about 10 emails asking if I could shadow, that it'd be completely free, just to get that experience to be able to work independently. Unknowingly to me, home inspection is a severely competitive field. In my county, there was already a lot of people working as a home inspector. So seeing a newcomer try to gain experience, they did not like that. All the emails I reached out to, radio silence. That kind of blew the flame of that home inspection career. I honestly thought it was going to be like real estate where you join like a firm and you all work together. completely false. Everybody works by themselves and everybody's competing to become their top home inspector. But thankfully, that cafe job that I had was something that I could potentially grow in. I was started having more communication with the owner. We both were kind of tossing ideas, trying to working off each other, and I formed a business relationship with her. I had knowledge from Starbucks and from other companies that I worked at that would help the business, and she would implement them and enforce them. And now the summer is slowly approaching, and the summer for the business was the high point. So she needed somebody that she could trust in charge of the whole operation. And she entrusted me to do so. And I became the first manager of that business. I love the job. I love the people there, my coworkers, everybody who would come in. I love being able to let my ideas be heard. Something that really discouraged me in other companies that I would offer ideas and hear nothing back or even just be ignored. Being able to make an impact on a business is something that I really loved about that job. And so the summer came and went, and my roommate and best friend, who was scheduled to graduate in December, came to me and asked me if I wanted to move in with him. And he was set out to move here in mid to late January. Honestly, I was taken aback by that offer. I didn't know how to feel about it. I wanted to move out of my apartment so badly. I hated that place. And I honestly felt just lazy going back home. I didn't want to do anything. I had no drive to do anything after coming back from work because it was just so depressing to being in that little room. And I know my cat felt the same, and that's something that really impacted me a lot. Knowing that, my pet Luna, my cat Luna over here was basically with me and trapped in that little closed area. So I decided to take the leap and accept his offer. It was very hard to make that decision because my job was almost perfect. I would have not left that job if it wasn't for my living situation. That I had very firm beliefs that that company is going to do so really well in the future. And it has been. I'm still into contact with that owner, and I'm happy that we don't have any bad blood. I didn't burn any bridges, and I don't want to because I do want to work with her in the future. Hopefully, she accepts my help. So I decided to move here with one goal, and that's to get rid of my debt. This is the breakdown of all of my debts. As of March 30th, I am $13,781 in debt. I owe my brother car insurance, which he didn't remind me to pay him, so it just kept on racking up, and it racked up to $2,580. I owe my dad $10,000 for the loan he gave me for my car. It was originally $15,000, but he offered to give me $5,000 and $10,000 in a loan. In total, I have 7 credit cards, but these 5 are almost maxed out. Now, this one is the Chase Amazon Prime Visa card. And almost every week I do pay some of the debt off, but it's still hovering around the top max, and my credit limit is at $4,000. The Freedom Unlimited also has pretty good benefits, but I also have maxed this one out, so I can't even touch it. I have to pay it off, and this is going to be second on the list of cards I'm going to pay off. This is my American Express Gold card. Now, this is the biggest fucking scam I've ever gotten. Now, originally, it was $250 for, I think, a decent amount of benefits. It would give you $120 of Uber cash to basically spend on Uber drives or on Uber Eats. Every month, they would give you an allowance of $10. And that would give me an incentive to use Uber Eats. Now, it also has $120 of Resy credit. Now, Resy is a website and app that allows you to see local restaurants that are popular and on the come up. They've recently changed and modified this card. It is now a $325 yearly credit membership. It still gives you the same Uber credits, but now with the Resy credit, it splits it up into 2 payments. So $60 for the first 6 months and $60 for the last 6 months, along with a Dunkin' Donuts credit. Now, every month, it gives you $7 worth of Dunkin' Donuts credits. Now, I personally don't go to Dunkin' Donuts nearly as often to make this card worth it. So that's why I'm planning on getting rid of this card after this year. The Saver one was my first MasterCard that I got. I really like the benefits on it, but I've used it way too often and is almost at its credit limit at about 3,000. The last one I have is the PayPal MasterCard. Now this one is an interesting one. It gives you 2% back on all purchases online. And I think 3% on PayPal. I'm not too sure. But this is kind of like the everything card now. I just paid this whole card off back in November. This was before my move. And since then, I use this for all my moving expenses and all my groceries and about almost everything. So this is almost up there, almost maxed out. And the max limit on this one is 4,000. Now, those are the 5 cards that I have. Now, I'm planning on paying off first the American Express since it's the lowest one, and I don't really want to have too bad of a reputation with American Express. The next one would be the Freedom Unlimited card from Chase. Now, that one I want to completely not rid of, but completely clear the debt. It has pretty good benefits, but I can't use any of them if I maxed out my whole credit line. And recently, I've seen my credit slowly start dropping. At first, it was at like a decent amount. It was still hovering around 700, but it has completely shed itself. Right now, I'm focusing on my car insurance that I have to pay my brother because now I'm switching over the title into my name, so I kind of want to just pay him back so I don't have to owe him any money. And it's a low enough amount where I think I'm able to pay him off by the end of the summer. With every single way I've been trying to save, I think I'd be able to pay my dad off by halfway point of next year. Now, this is my plan on how to get out of debt. Number one, I'm focusing on just clearing one card at a time. One thing that kind of overwhelmed me is having a bunch of cards, and even if I pay a little bit of them off, my credit does not completely bounce back from that. It takes a drastic measure for your credit score to show improvement. Right now, I've been slowly paying off my American Express, but that membership fee kind of fucked me over. I would have already paid all of that if that membership did not exist. And that's why I'm getting rid of that fucking shit. But tackling one thing at a time, I think is gonna help me in the long run, while also paying off the card that I use on a daily basis and not using the other cards for absolutely anything. The second way I'm saving money is by eating a lot less. Now, before, when I first arrived here, me and my roommate would go out and get groceries and then split the difference on that. I've noticed that that was very costly for myself. I would pay it'd be like about $100 per week on groceries. And it was good food, but it was food that I didn't need to spend money on. So, luckily, I have my job that feeds me breakfast and lunch for free. So that was a huge help. It gives me everything I need except for dinner. And so I came up with a strategy of just eating potatoes and chicken, the bare bones, nothing. And I spend about $50 every 2 weeks on that. I'll show you how to prepare the potatoes in a different video, but I make it where it's tolerable to me and I'm able to eat that all throughout the week, along with a strawberry dessert. Third method of saving money, well, actually gaining money, because I'm using DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Amazon Flex. Those are the 3 apps that I've been using to get a little bit more cash on the weekends or after work. Those 3 serve different purposes for different times. Uber, I've noticed, is really popular in the weekends. So I usually go out in the morning or during lunch because that's where it's peak Uber time. And the thing I love about Uber is that once you already collect the food and are heading en route to deliver that food, you're already receiving new orders. What's so good about that is that you don't have to go back to like a hot spot or a hot area. You just continuously keep on getting orders and orders and orders. And that saves you a lot of time and it gives you a lot, it makes you rack up your money so much. DoorDash is good because when it's busy during the weekdays, you get incentives such as you get $2.50 added to each order. So for small time orders, that's a really big help. And for Amazon Flex, now I've never done the basic Amazon Flex where you pick up packages and you go around and deliver them. What I've been doing is using the Whole Food option. Now, every so often, and I think they're on like a very limited time slot where it shows up on the app and you're able to grab that amazing deal where you just go to Whole Food, you pick up the bags like a DoorDash and you go and deliver them. But the thing is that they give you a really good base value. They give you like around $20 an hour to be doing that, along with tips. I was able to get $66 on an hour and 30-minute delivery. Now that was absolutely astronomically good. Just getting those good tips from those people are just fucking amazing. It makes your week. Fourth way I'm saving money is not the biggest way, but I have been doing less expensive stuff, such as instead of going to the laundromat myself, I'm going to the apartment laundromat, which is a lot smaller and there's only one machine, but it still works, it's functional, and it's cheap. Along with getting Costco gas, looking for really good deals on food, using the CVS $5 get $10 credit, which is really good, and using Groupon as well. Every so often when you want to treat yourself. I'm human too, and I do like eating out every so often. But those are some of the tips that I've been doing to try to lower that amount. I'm gonna be doing monthly updates, taking you on the journey on hopefully getting a majority of this debt out of the way in 2025. I've had this for about 3 years now, and I'm trying to get rid of it. I don't want it. I've finally learned my lesson, and if you have any tips, any financial tips, I'm more than willing to hear you guys out. Any advice, any things that you think I'm doing wrong, I'm glad to hear. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. And I'll see you next month.